My sister, 32F, called CPS on my husband and me. The case is closed, but I'm struggling to confront her. My sister and I have always been incredibly close. Every year, without fail, she spends Christmas Eve at our house with her fiancé, 31 million, helping us set up the toys from Santa. We even jokingly call ourselves Santa's helpers. And it's always been such a cherished, joyful tradition. This past Christmas Eve seemed no different. Or so I thought. That night, she saw my husband and father disciplining our 13-year-old son. Now, let me paint a picture of what discipline looks like in our house. Our son is a typical teenager, sassy, argumentative, and testing boundaries like teens do. He's been struggling with following instructions at school and home, and we've been working on it as a family. Our approach is a mix of tough love and meaningful dialogue. If he slams the door or storms off during an argument, my husband gives him time to cool off before going upstairs to talk it out with him, heart to heart. On Christmas Eve, my son told his 3-year-old sister that Santa wasn't real. Naturally, my husband and I stepped in and said that wasn't okay. It escalated into one of those back-and-forth arguments, but eventually he apologized and went to bed. My sister and her fiancé were there the whole time, quietly observing, but they didn't say a word. The night carried on as usual. Gifts, laughter, and holiday cheer. Fast forward to January. My son went back to school after the holiday break, and a CPS worker pulled him out of class to interview him. Imagine my shock when I got the call. They asked him about how we discipline him, how he feels at home, and whether we treat him well. To his credit, my son spoke from the heart, telling them he loves us and feels safe. He explained our discipline style, taking away electronics when needed, grounding him occasionally, and how we always have conversations to help him understand why we set boundaries. And then it all clicked. The CPS worker mentioned 2 accusations made against us: that my husband is an alcoholic with anger issues, that we are starving our 3 children and have no food in the house. Let me break this down. First, it was Christmas Eve. We had family over, and everyone, my sister included, was enjoying eggnog or wine. My husband had a couple of drinks, sure, but nothing excessive. My sister, on the other hand, drank an entire 18-pack of beer herself. She was the only person in the house who got anywhere near drunk. My husband doesn't have anger issues either. Yes, he was upset about what our son said to his little sister, but it wasn't anything beyond what you'd expect from a concerned dad trying to set boundaries. As for the food accusation, when the CPS worker visited, she toured our home and saw our pantry, fridge, and freezer. She actually laughed out loud and said, "There's enough food here to feed everyone in this house for 3 months." By the time she left, the worker told us she was glad to be handling a case in such a functional, loving home. She assured us the case would be closed quickly. And as of today, it is. She found no reason to take any further action. But here's where things get messy. My parents and brother have spoken to my sister, and all signs point to her being the one who made the call to CPS. She hasn't outright admitted it, but her behavior says it all. On the day of the interview, she was blowing up my phone, demanding updates, asking what the worker said, and seeming overly involved. But as soon as I told her everything went fine, she went silent. For weeks, I'm devastated. This feels like the ultimate betrayal. My sister and I have always been close. I trusted her. And for her to make such an impulsive, cruel decision at a time when my family was already dealing with so much, it's just heartbreaking. A little context about December. I have a seizure disorder, and after 10 years of being seizure-free, I suddenly had 3 back-to-back seizures last month. I've been undergoing exhausting tests and now can't drive for 6 months. My husband has had to pick up so much of the slack, all while working full-time and helping me adjust to this new reality. The stress has been overwhelming. For her to pile this on us, knowing everything we're going through, is beyond words. I want to confront her. I want to tell her how much this hurt me, how wrong it was. But I don't even know where to start. She hasn't apologized or admitted to anything outright, and I don't want to explode emotionally when we finally talk. My brother wants to arrange a sit-down lunch so we can address this face-to-face. But honestly, I don't even know if I can look her in the eye right now. I feel like I need to address her drinking too. That night wasn't an isolated incident. Her relationship with alcohol has been a concern for a while. I also can't shake the feeling that there's something deeper going on with her mental health that led her to do this. For now, I'm just trying to figure out how to approach this conversation. How do I make her understand how deeply she's hurt us without losing my composure? How do I repair a relationship that feels so broken? I'll update you all after the lunch, if I even make it through. Thank you to everyone who's shared advice or just listened. It means the world to me.